Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the CKC channel. I'm your host, FIDE Master Calvin Klaassen, and welcome to the first episode of Reflections Season 4. So this is bound to be super interesting, guys. We've got loads of interesting guests lined up for this year, and yeah, I think we're probably gonna get a lot more interesting shows since last every season it just gets better and better. So if you're new to the show, welcome everyone. If you're new to the show, don't forget to press the follow button, and that does open up the chat, I think. And welcome to Grey Old Wizard in the chat as well. Welcome to everyone. And yeah, you guys must enjoy the show. After about 20 minutes, I'll probably pop in and ask some questions from the viewers. So don't forget to throw in your questions early for our special guest. Our special guest has been playing chess for quite a while. I've had the pleasure of playing on the same South African team a couple of times, I believe, and she's got loads of experience. She's a women's international master, and I'll leave the rest of the introduction to Dr. Boa. So guys, enjoy the show, and over to you, Dr. Boa.
Thank you very much, Calvin, and good evening, viewers. Yes, we're back with season 4, and we're kicking off with Women International Master Anzel Laubscher. And Anzel, a good friend of ours and also of chess in general. And Anzel is also an advocate here at the Cape High Court. And tonight, Anzel kicks off because we decided that Calvin and I that we want to showcase some of our female players. And we're kicking off with Anzel, and we'll also talk about other guests later on. Anzel, welcome to Reflection Season 4.
Thank you so much, Lyndon. Hi, Calvin. Hi, viewers. Thanks. Nice to see you guys.
As Calvin said, Anzel, you've been playing chess for in my opinion, the better part of about 25 years that I've probably know you since about 97, 98. But before we get there to that playing, how did it all start? Who taught you to play?
Well, Lyndon, that actually happened by accident. Neither my mom nor my dad could play chess at all. My dad was really good at drafts, Dumbo, that drafts, right?
Yeah.
So he was really good at that. But they didn't play chess, and I played netball as well. Netball was actually my first love for most of my school career. And the one day the netball teacher was sick, and we had to join the cross country training. So now, if you know me, I hate running. If you ever see me run, you have to shoot the person chasing me, because that's a serious case, all right? So I was 9 years old, and even at that age, I was quite creative in the sense that I was on my way to the cross-country teacher at the gate, and then I saw, oh, there's something happening here in a classroom, and I just walked in and I pretended that I could play chess just to not go to the cross-country, and I just ended up playing chess. I pretended to know how the pieces move. I knew how the king moved and the rook, and I looked at my friends next to me to see how they move the pieces, and I tried to follow that. Obviously, I didn't move the knight for the entire session because I couldn't figure that out myself.
No, so good. So you caught something there by watching a bit. And was this in Bloemfontein, Anzel?
Yes. I grew up in Bloemfontein. I was born in Cape Town, but we moved to Bloemfontein when I was 4. And so I completed my entire school career and my first degree in Bloemfontein as well.
Super. And tell us about. I mean, now you've sort of 9 years old. You've sort of teaching yourself. What was the next step when they now realized that you perhaps could play a bit? I mean, what was your reaction of your parents after that when you told them when you got home?
No, but you see, this is the thing. This whole process caught me en passant, because I decided I'm not going to tell my dad that I went to chess. I'll just pretend that I was at netball. Sometimes those kids think what the parents don't know won't hurt them, So when I got to the gate after this training session, all my teammates were standing around, and everyone was looking for me, because now my dad was waiting for me and I'm gone. And he saw all my friends coming back from cross, or, came out at the gate, and I'm not there. And everyone is red-faced. And here I come, some breeze, no training, no nothing. And my dad asked me where I was. And then I I realized, like, well, I have to tell him now. So I was very excited. Oh no, Daddy, I started playing chess, and he was quite excited about that. Because my parents were very supportive and they believed that you have to try everything, especially when you're young, at a young age, you try different sport. And I thought, okay, I'll just pretend to be playing chess for another week or two. Maybe my dad will forget about it or something, So on the second week, I actually get to like this, this was quite a nice activity. And then also the teacher came to me and asked me, who's fetching you after 2 weeks now? Who's fetching you after chess? And I said, my daddy. And she asked if she could speak to him quickly. So she went with me to the gate now to speak to my dad. And she said to my dad, but there's something there and maybe I should play my first tournament, And that was the Bloemfontein Open back then.
Sure,
and
it's a big one.
Yeah. The way she explained it was, if you pass that tournament, then you get to the Free State trials. And then I don't know where she said, but for me, it was you go to America. So it was probably somewhere abroad. But, coming from Bloemfontein, anything abroad was America. And I was very excited. So I went to play my first tournament. I won 1 out of 7, Lyndon. I was shattered.
Sure.
Because my opponent didn't show up.
Okay. So you got
So
that default there.
Yeah. I was shattered. Look, you know me, you've traveled a lot. Even Calvin, you've been my team captain and our team coach and stuff. And I'm not a bad loser, but I'm not a happy loser. I don't break the furniture or cause bodily harm. But if I lost my game, just leave me alone for a while, Now imagine being 9 years old and you dreaming to get on the plane going to America, and you get 1 out of 7 because your opponent didn't show up. So
tough first one. And when was who was your first coach? Your first coach in Bloemfontein?
Lyndon, that's a good question. I never had coaching like our youngsters have coaching nowadays. But I had mentors because when Richard Morris, you met him, Richard.
Yep.
He passed away,
Yep.
I think 2 years ago as well. He was like my chess dad, and Piet van Zyl. They raised me in chess. Whatever I knew back then was what I learned from them. And when Richard used to tell my dad, Johan, you need to get this child to coaching, because I started winning tournaments and I didn't give up. My dad said I could quit chess if I could win 2 games at a tournament. This is after I got 1 out of 7. So if you can win 2 games by playing and winning, you can stop. So I started training to quit, and then the next tournament, I got 4 out of 7, best girl, and the rest is history. So Richard told my dad, Johan, you need to get this girl to coaching. And my dad said, well, if you can get her off the netball court, you're welcome to coach her. But I was just, I just wanted to play.
So, no. So, Richard and Piet were excellent role models and also fantastic chess organizers, as we got to meet them sort of later on as well. So no, Free State was always I used to remember those little green books, Anzel, when there was a Bethlehem Open and a Harry Smith Open and all sorts of tournaments out there in Free State. So Free State was a good hub for chess for a long time. So what was your first big tournament that you remember that you sort of excelled in, that you'd say that was a breakthrough tournament for you? What would be that tournament?
Look, Lyndon, I have to just remind the viewers that, especially, even Calvin, that's before your time. Back in the days when we played juniors, Lyndon, you and I, when we played junior tournaments, we would win the SA junior tournament, for instance, like now they call it the SAJCC. You would win that, for instance, and still not be able to travel abroad, because we had sanctions and they would select a team, but all dressed up and nowhere to go, So my first big thing was in 97 when I was first year at university, and I actually stopped playing for that year. I was coaching then, but I stopped playing because I was studying law and I was playing netball and doing other things. And they then had the first SA Ladies Open after, I think, a 10 or 12 year break. And when Pete
Sure.
and when Richard actually called my dad and said, listen, can you please convince Anzel to go and play? So we just at least have one player from the Free State, one female player. So my dad took me to Pretoria. He again had to bribe me to go to Pretoria. And off I went and I played the SA Ladies Open. And I came second. Yvette Arvia won. And I can still remember the prize money. You know why? Because in 97, I was second and I got 2,000 Rand. Now, look, for a first year law student, 2,000 Rand is a lot of money. Right?
Yeah.
Yvette got 3,000 Rand. And even the last Ladies Open, we had the prize money. And I'm talking about, when was it? 2015, 2016? Around was the last SA Ladies, proper Ladies Open we had. And the prize money was still the same.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That's why I remember the prize money. And then,
now that was 97.
At that event, they selected
Now, this is what I want to come to, because I recall that at that time, Chesa sent a team in 98 to the Olympiad in Leicester.
Yeah.
Now, you were part of that first Olympiad team that South Africa took, and if I'm not mistaken, was it Piet Greiling or was the manager?
Chris Greiling.
Chris Greiling, yes, Chris. He passed away in December, and we remember him. Yes. But tell us a bit about that first Olympiad, and when you got chosen for the team, what did you feel, and tell us about the tournament a bit.
Oh, it was absolutely amazing, Lyndon. That was my first trip abroad as well. And after the SA Ladies Open, the 97 one, they selected this team to go to the Olympiad in Leicester in October 1998. And it was myself and Yvette Arvia, Alita Frank, and Michelle Menor. And we were an amazing, especially the ladies team. We were good friends as well, and we had an absolute ball. And it was amazing to see the grandmasters. And I mean, nowadays we are friends. All of us, we have grandmaster friends, and they come and stay at our house and stuff. But back then, it was amazing just to see. This is a real grandmaster, and you talk to them, and you meet with them afterwards, after the games, and. So that was an amazing experience. And even the send-off, the morning before we flew, the evening, but that morning we had an interview on, what was it, Good Morning South Africa, and the whole team, the ladies team, and Chris, because that was the first time ever South Africa selected a ladies team. Yes, so I'm the only one from the regional team still playing.
Yeah, no, that's quite some time ago. And Anzel, my understanding is that, was it 98 or 99 that you qualified for your WIM title in Botswana? Was that the one that you qualified for? Just remind us.
2000.
In 2000, tell us about that 2000. Zonal. Yeah, tell us a bit about that zonal.
Oh yeah, that was we went to Botswana. And myself and Denise Frick from Pretoria, and her dad actually took us. So I went from Bloemfontein with the bus to Pretoria, and then we drove in with him. He took us to Botswana, and we played there. And and I came second. So I qualified for my WIM title based on the percentages. Back then, you could still qualify on percentage, and not like now where you need to have a minimum rating as well. So. I came second.
And now my recollection is that at that time, South Africa started sending a lot of players at different places, and you were probably the first South African player to play in China, if I'm not mistaken, in Shenyang. Because I've done some research, and I picked up that you played in, was it a World Women's event?
World Cup, yes.
The World Cup. Tell us, who did you play? Who did you play there?
Oh, goodness. I played Pia Kramling, Kostiniak, London. You should have asked me now.
No, you don't need to mention all of them. I mean, just Pia Kramling and Kostiniak. Yeah, those are fantastic names as well.
Those are the names, yeah. And I faced most of them more than once in my life. Yeah.
Now, Anzel, if you think back to those times, what would you say a young player growing up would be able to learn from your experience from those tournaments in China or Botswana or Elista? What would you tell them? What would the old Anzel tell the young Anzel?
Lyndon, I would actually tell myself not to narrow myself down to those tournaments, only where you get your colors. Because if you only go to play when you are getting the reward of SA colors, or it is nothing like standing on that podium, wearing your national tracksuit, hearing the anthem play, and you see the flag raise of your country, and you know you won gold for your country. There's nothing that can beat that feeling. And I would encourage any young player to get there. But it's not all about that. It's also about the journey getting there. And when you get there, to play the best game that you can. Because I've played many tournaments where I represented South Africa, where I played very well, and then some where I played really bad. And it's not, especially when you represent your country, you have to give your best, you know. And when you go as a team player, be the team player. Be the team player. And remember that you're not only preparing for yourself, you're preparing for the team as well.
Yeah.
But I would like, if I was a younger, if I could have it all over and I know what I know now, then I would play more events where I'm just invited as a normal player, not as a representing South Africa and wearing the colors. Because
like
those
in an
are the best tournaments I
Swiss.
had to prepare myself. Yes, but even just, or even round robin events, or wherever you get invitations to play overseas.
Sure.
And you invest that. And I never had a sponsor, so I always had to invest my own resources into playing and negotiating conditions and in certain countries, and making friends and giving your organizers the exposure and the recognition when you play a certain tournament. You know, it's important. I would definitely, that would be the one thing. Don't just play for the national colors. Yeah.
No, thanks for that. And I think it's an important point, because many players sort of only play for that pinnacle, but actually you need to also play in some of the smaller events, round robins, opens, to gain the experience in order to even get better. So no, thanks, Anzel. Anzel, if I would ask you, two players, international, living or not living, that influenced your play, who would that be? Any man, woman, grandmaster, non-grandmaster, who would those players be? Two players.
Well, if I look at the world champions, the classical champions, I'm a Capablanca fan. So I do like Capablanca's play and style, and even Alakine. But I think Alakine, maybe because he was also a legal brain, you know. And more recently, I mean, everyone knows that I'm a Magnus fan, you know. So I do like his play and his style. From a female perspective, obviously Judith Polgar, I have a lot of respect for her as well. But if I look at some of the other female players that were playing more in female events or women events and so on, I really do admire Kosteniuk, because of what she has done for chess, you know, and the picture that she, or the association that she makes with chess. So I do appreciate that in that sense. I appreciate people who also not only use their playing strength, but use it for other courses as well in life. Yeah.
No, I'll certainly remember, and maybe one day I must actually read a bit more about Kosteniuk and what she's done there. But thanks for that. Anzel, 3 books that would have influenced your style or your play during the years that you may have studied. What would you recommend to readers?
Okay, so we all know if you haven't worked through my system, then you're probably not a serious player. Am I right?
Okay, the heavy my system.
It takes a while. I mean, don't worry if you don't do it the first time. It's okay. It's okay. And then another book that I really enjoyed because I coach as well, so I always read a book with a different eye, not only for my own chess, but also how I can teach it to someone else, is Reassess Your Chess. The way it is written and the way you can read it, you can actually read separate chapters at separate times. You don't have to read it from cover to cover. So I do like the idea in Reassess Your Chess to look at the different imbalances, for instance, and understanding the imbalances. So for younger players, I would really recommend that. And then I enjoyed Most Instructive Games by Chernev. Is it Chernev?
Yes, okay. No, that's a lovely book. Yeah, I love that one. Yes. Yep.
I enjoy the annotations, and it's very the type of games that's in there are very illustrative games. So if you work through a game and you actually read through the annotations, you learn so much. And also for the younger players, don't just read through the games to get to the checkmate to see the mating pattern. That's not the beauty of the game. The beauty is how do you get to that position where you can actually execute the mating pattern.
No, thank you. You are the first one to mention my Most Instructive Games, and I actually have got 2 copies of it here at home that I prize very, very hard. And I think that and my system, obviously, it's just all classics on that side. So thank you very much for.
Sorry, Lyndon. Another book that's nice for self-studying as well. And if you can get your hands on a copy that doesn't have the old English notation, you actually that will make it easier. But The Art of Checkmate, I think that's what it's called, is a blue cover with black written on it, and it has a different mating patterns and the different types of mates. So if you can actually name a specific type of mate, like the Anastasia mate or Arabian mate, and they tell you why it's the Arabian mate and why it's the Bowden mate or Blackburn mate. So it's nice to know, and it makes me proud when my students, my 11-year-old students, will tell me, "Oh, coach, I had an Anastasia mate," So that's like, my work here is done,
Yes, good. Well, I must tell you that it seems as if I've got all 4 of your books in my chess library. So I'm pleased to report that I can tick that one off on that side. Anzel, just a last question, Calvin, before I hand over to you. If you Olympiads, you have played about 8 already. Which country and which Olympiad would have been your favorite of all of them? If you think about Baku, Azerbaijan, or wherever it was that you played, which one was your favorite?
Okay, my first one in Elista was my favorite because of the experience, It was not the best place to be, but it was an amazing experience. But my most memorable and best performance was Baku in 2016. Yes, I absolutely loved it.
Yeah. Is that the one? Is that the one where you had like 5 wins in a row? Tell the viewers a bit about that one, because at some stage you were unstoppable there with sacrificing and these things against some of these WIMs of the other countries.
But before that, I must mention, and this is now what I mentioned earlier, don't just go for the national colors. Before that, Michelle Fisher and myself spent 6 weeks. We were away from home in total for 2 months. So before that, we spent 6 weeks, 2 weeks in Uganda playing the African individuals. And then we went to Spain for a month. And we attended the training camp, and we played 2 proper tournaments plus a rapid in Spain. We got coaching from Irons and GMs, and then we left we had 4 days rest in Barcelona, where we spent on a yacht, Airbnb on a yacht, and then we rested for the 4 days, and we flew off to Baku. And I was at a point where I was in form, I would say, and I could
absolutely good preparation.
Yeah, it's important. Sorry. I just have.
Well, it seems as if Azerbaijan was. Yes, he looks like a black and white chess cat.
The chess cat to the chess community. He's not going to go away now. His name is Lexi. and this is his cuddle time, so he's going to be all over. So please,
Not a
excuse
problem.
Lexi.
No, thanks, Anzel. I'm going to hand you over to Calvin for a moment. Calvin, over to you.
Okay, interesting stuff, guys. Yeah, we got a couple of questions in the chat box. Not as many as I would like yet. King Ulster can also throw in a question. He's been commenting here, but no questions, guys. But in any event, thanks for everybody for popping in. We've got Grey Old Wizard and King Ulster, and Mr. Delpat says, looking good, Dr. Boa. So yes, welcome everyone. And let's see, what's our first question? We have Boom Shaka in the chat saying, what is your favorite event you have played in, Anzel?
The Women's World Championships in, sorry, who asked the question?
Boom Shaka.
Boom? Oh, thank you for the question, Boom Shaka. I played in 2008, was the Women's World Championship in Nalchik in Russia. And it was, it was knockouts, but I managed to, because I was the lowest on the ranking, I had to play against the defending world champion, and I managed to draw a game against her. So for me, that was obviously a memorable experience.
Definitely, sounds great. Thanks, Anzel. And then King Ulster stepping up here as well. Thanks, King Ulster. I'm gonna take King Ulster's question, and then I'm gonna jump over to Boom Shaka's one again. She left another one over there. So King Ulster says, wow, 5 in a row, like hockey or soccer beating. Question for Anzel: what would you change, if anything, in your theoretical or physical chess prep?
Who asked that? King?
King Ulster.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that as well. Well, definitely you need to have stamina, and you need to be a little bit, I have to be fitter than what I am at the moment. And I also found that if I'm a bit physically more or fitter, then that helps as well. Theoretical knowledge, well, for me, definitely I will study more chess. I would take the time now. I'm also taking some time now to study more. It depends it's person to person. Like for myself, I love academia, and I love studying, and I love reading. And so for me, that's what I personally will do. Learn more theory, because I love to apply the theory. I like to know theory and the terms and so on. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks, Anzel. And then I think we have one last question here from Boom Shaka as well. I'll just monitor the chat if anything else pops up. But Boom Shaka says, okay, but this question, kind of you answered this one already. She's asking, how many Olympiads have you played? And which one was your best performance? So we kind of just touched on that. I don't know if there's anything else you want to add to that, but thanks, Boom Shaka, for the question.
Yeah. I think Lyndon mentioned.
Is it
2016? Wait, 98, 6, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, 16, 7 playing. One I was selected for and I had to withdraw, and another one I was there, but I was the non-playing captain. So
okay, fantastic. Yeah. And then maybe sorry, Anzel, can you perhaps give Boom Shaka a bonus answer there? Perhaps your second favorite, the second best performance at an Olympiad? I mean, you have so many to pick from, so there has to be a second one somewhere in mind.
I have to check now. Performance-wise, I would say, no, I can't think now. No, performance-wise, no, definitely, nothing can come close to 2016.
Okay. No,
2008 was not too bad either, but yes, because I played board 1 in 2008 in Germany, so that was more. It was quite tough playing board 1, but probably 2008. Yeah.
Okay, playing on board 1 should always be interesting. So yeah, for the viewers, you guys can go and check that out as well. Thanks, Anzel. And then one last question, perhaps also from King Ulster. Any specific games where you have had crystal clarity or feeling of invincibility over the board?
it's actually that in 2016, again Baku, you know, when you even before you get to the board and you sit in the bus and we're on our way to the playing venue, you just have this feeling, I'm not going to lose today. You just know you're not going to lose today. Even if you play a higher rated player, you just know you're not going to lose today. But that is normally when you have done proper preparation and you get to the board, and you sometimes sit at the board and even sacrificing a pawn in the opening, and you just know, I've got this, you know, this is preparation. So that often, yeah, the key is preparation.
Fantastic. Thanks, Anzel. Okay, thanks to everybody in the chat as well. I'll be off for now and I'll see you guys in a bit. Thanks.
Very much. So, Anzel, just I've got two more questions and then we're going to go to the games. What would typically be preparation for you? I mean, do you spend an hour? Is it over weekends? What would, just like a general tip for players, how to prepare? What would your advice be?
Lyndon, for myself, I know what works for me, but I know for some of my teammates, different things work for different people. For me personally, if I play a lot, I get into form. I need to play to get into form.
Sure.
And it's not easy, because the motions that you go through, especially now after lockdown, coming back and suddenly have to play again. It's not easy to go through all those motions and emotions of winning and losing, and you know, this is how you used to be able to play, and suddenly you're not there anymore. So for me personally, playing and doing tactics, that I would, for any player, that's a cheap and quick way to improve your chess that you could do on your own. Even if you use an app or something, if you don't want to, I'm very lazy. I don't always want to back up the positions on the chessboard, you know, because that takes time. So often I would just do tactics online. For me personally, that helps. And you don't have to pay a coach. You don't have to do anything. You can just, if you have data, then you can do your tactics, or a book and you do.
Okay. No, we will take that advice. Tactics,
yeah.
very,
but I know some
tactics
of my
very important.
teammates.
Anzel, you've also been a coach for a long time. What would be your coaching philosophy? Do you try to get the kid to become champion, to understand chess better, or to be the best player that he or she can? What is your coaching philosophy?
Okay, my coaching philosophy, first of all, and that I will tell anyone, any coach, any parent, any administrator, anyone, is, for me, if you coach, you have to realize that that player is not going to be, whether it's chess or rugby or whatever sport, that player is not going to be a chess player for the rest of his or her life. But that player will be a human being for the rest of his or her life. And remember, when we work with children, you can actually spoil or damage a child by your coaching methods. So for any coach, I would say, if you're just in it for the money and just getting the hour by and whatever, don't do it. Do something else. But if you work with children, you have a lasting impact. If all of us think of our first ever coaching experience or learning experience in our lives, we will most probably take it back 40 years, 30 years, or however old you are. And you will remember that experience either being positive or negative, but you will be able to link it to the person who was the educator, whether it was a teacher or a coach at that time. And that's a lasting impact. So my first philosophy is always see the child first. And remember that we are not only creating chess players, we're creating human beings.
Anzel, thank you very much. It's a very, very important concept there, because everybody has different philosophies. But if that's a philosophy that works for you, putting the interest of the child first, that's really the essential one on that side. Anzel, thank you very much. We're going to, because we know we've booked you for an hour, we're going to go for the games now. So, Calvin, over to you with the games, and Anzel, and we're going to go onto lead chess now. Anzel, if you open it on your side, which one would you like to do first, the short one or the long one?
Let's do the long one.
Right.
No. Sorry. Let's. Now I'm going to mess you around.
That's fine. You want to go to the short?
quickly.
That's
And the
fine.
reason why I do that, it's not a, I played, this is post-COVID. And what makes this quite special at this game for me is that it was my first tournament after lockdown that I played. And it was at Mykonos, here at Langebaan, the Western Cape
Sure.
tournament. And so, you know, Mykonos is based on a Greek island. So this last game,
Sure.
I actually got a Greek gift against one of our top junior girls. And it was just for me, that was the last
Right.
game. And this also, by winning this, I got the best Western Cape female or women champion for 2021. So getting the Greek gift. So we can take
Super.
a short one.
So let's,
Fantastic.
now
Sounds
let's,
good.
I hand you over to Calvin for the moment, and then and I'll be back in a second. But you and Calvin go on.
Okay, so let's just see. Do we have the study? Whose game are we looking at first, Anzel?
The shorter one, not the Sicilian.
Not the Sicilian. So is this
The
against?
B4.
Is
Yeah,
this
I didn't put in the names. Yeah, okay.
this one over here? Shall we say who's the junior, or would you want to keep it anonymous or what?
It's no, let's just say it's one of our top junior girls. And yeah, but yeah, let's just leave it at that.
Okay, no worries.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So
right.
yeah, you've got the white pieces, I'm assuming.
Yes, I got the white pieces, but I
Okay.
also knew that you would be prepared for D4. So especially when us older players, we play the youngsters, we often try to take them out of the book, you know?
Yes.
So I played knight f3. I started with knight f3.
Okay.
D5. So I played c4 into the offered the reti. She played knight c6. Now, when she played knight c6, I immediately realized that in this position, I can actually get the perfect pawn center. All right, you know, with the pawns on e4, d4, and then the knight on f3 and knight on c3. So that was my aim here. So this is why I took c takes d, queen takes, knight c3, queen d8.
Back, yeah.
Then I played d4, immediately securing e5 square. Because now she can't stop me from playing e4, right?
Yeah.
And for the younger players, that's, or just to explain, if you get e4 and d4 and the two knights, we call that the perfect pawn center. So black played e6.
Okay, pawn to e6. Yeah.
And now I realize I have to look at the bishops. Her c8 bishop is now
kind of blocked in over there.
going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, that bishop will sit in his pajamas at the back for quite a while.
Yep.
Then I play e4, taking the center.
Getting your beautiful
Knight
center.
f6.
Yeah. Knight f6.
Bishop c4.
Okay. Bishop to
Let's
b4.
continue the moves there.
Can you see the moves, Anzel?
No, I don't see the moves.
Okay, are you in the study? It shows that you are in the study. Maybe you should just double check at the bottom left of your board. Are you sync? It should be a green tick, not a red X.
But I'll just check on my knight f6.
Knight f6, bishop c4, and then bishop to b4.
Yeah. Sorry, I got the notation from the player. It's bishop d3. Sorry.
Bishop?
It's not bishop c4, bishop d3.
Oh, okay. Bishop to d3. I see here's a side note here as well. Okay, bishop d3, no worries. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I can see that on the notation, but I wasn't sure. Okay,
no worries.
So then she now I'm setting up, I'm keeping that bishop on d3 because I want to play e5, and that bishop is having a look at h7. Okay, I'm always eyeing h7 in this case.
Yes.
So she played bishop b4. Now in general, a better move here will be bishop e7 rather.
Okay.
Because black wants to castle, but as soon as black castles, I'm going to play e5 and I've got the Greek gift, which is coming up now. But while the bishop is on e7, it makes it a little bit more difficult for white to get the Greek gift. There are still ways to do it, but it's more challenging. All right.
Yes.
So with bishop on b4, it makes it slightly easier for me.
Yes. Agreed.
And then I castle just to get my king out of the pin, and then she castled. And then here's the move that we have to play in this position, and that's e5.
Pawn to e5, it's begging to be played. There we go. So hitting the knight on f6, key defender. Where to go?
She played knight e5.
Okay.
Okay. And here comes the Greek gift. This is, they call this, for those, I'm sorry if I'm underestimating the listeners, but for those who don't know, this is called the Greek gift. And it's based on the story of the Trojan horse, where you give the bishop on h7, and if the king takes, then that is a blunder. So I played bishop h7, the bishop takes. Now let's just go through the moves if the king takes. She didn't take, but if the king takes,
okay.
If the king takes, so if the king takes, we go knight g5. This is a key position. So if those of you watching this, maybe you can take a picture of this, because this is a key position for the Greek gift, and you can get this from different openings. We call certain positions in an opening, we call it tabia, and you can get this from different openings and convert tabias into this specifically. All right, so knight g5, and then if the king goes to, okay, h8, it's easy, it's mating 2, right?
Yep.
But king to g8 is also a forced mate here. Queen g5, h5.
h5, threatening mate in 1.
Yeah, so the rook has to go to e8. Now, very important in this position is there's a mate, there's a forced mate here, but if you do it the wrong way around, black can maybe get away with a little bit of murder here, you know? But if you do it the right way around, there's a forced mate. So you go queen f7, check.
There we go. King h8 is forced.
King h8, yes. Queen h5, check.
King g8.
Yes. Queen h7.
King f8 forced.
Yes. Queen h8.
King e7 forced.
Yes. King e7 and queen takes g7, checkmate.
And that's mate. So if you didn't grab the f7 pawn, then it won't be mate, right?
Yes.
Yep. That's mate.
So you can't accept that Trojan horse.
Yes.
And she didn't.
So it looks like illustrative games here to kick the season off, Calvin.
Yeah, I love these Greek mythology stories. Always nice. Okay, so
but the reason why I'm showing this is because it was my last game playing at Mykonos, you know, so that it has a little bit of history to it.
Yes.
Okay, so what she did here, she played king h8. She obviously worked this out, and she realized. Okay, so king h8, then bishop c2. So now here I had to work it out. You know, there are different things that I can do. I could bring in my knight, but there were quite a lot of options. I'm not going to go through all the options now, but I was worried if I leave the bishop on h7, that it's actually going to be in my way. Because as long as I can, if I play the bishop away, then later on queen h5 and the h file is always an option for me.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's why I rather just play the bishop back. I'm sure there were better moves here, especially later on. So she plays g6.
G6.
Yeah. And here I realized now I just need to start taking off some pieces. Okay, the only defender at this stage is the knight on d5. If she plays that back and to f5 or something, I don't know, I just didn't like the idea. Or even to g8 or, yeah, that knight was becoming a little bit of a nightmare to me. So I took the knight, I just exchanged the knight.
Okay.
And then she took with the e-pawn. Well, she needs to open up the bishop, so that's right. Then bishop g5. Now, this was silly. Here I got drunk. Okay, I thought, okay, bishop g5, and then I can go bishop f6. So I forgot that her bishop can actually move backwards, you know.
Yep.
Sometimes bishops can move backwards. So this is a point where I realized, oh, okay, I haven't, you can feel the strain of not playing. Here, better move would have been bishop h6 straight, I think.
Okay.
Most probably. Okay. But okay, so I played bishop g5 and she played bishop e7. And then I went bishop h6. At last, I woke up. Rook g8. Bishop e3.
Bishop e3, okay.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking here. Rook g7. Now I started playing with a plan. Here I realized I need to get f4, f5. I need to start pushing that. So I played h3. This is why I played the following moves. h3. Now I had my plan. Okay. Bishop e7. She played bishop e7.
Bishop e6, I'm assuming.
E6. Sorry.
Sure.
Bishop e6. Knight h2. Rook h7. Now remember, my plan here was to get f4. So that's why I played h3, knight h2, and
Sorry.
now I go f4.
Okay, there we go.
Queen d7.
7.
And now I first played knight g4. Yes. Bishop takes knight.
Okay, pawn takes.
And then I took with the pawn because I don't want to exchange queens at this stage.
Yeah.
Okay. So I took with the pawn and rook g8.
G8.
Sorry, rook g7. Sorry,
Rook
my
G7.
apologies.
Okay,
Sorry, Calvin.
sure. No worries.
G7 and then f5.
F5.
Okay, now it's over.
Mm.
She played f6 and I played f takes g6 and she resigned because now bishop h6 comes and
F5 is gonna open up soon.
E takes f. Yeah. So but even if so, this is the thing. What first of all, it was the Greek gift, and second of all, once you when I played bishop g5 and I realized that I didn't see that her bishop can actually play backwards. You know, I think it happened to many of us at some stage where you realize, oh shucks, this piece can actually go back, you know, and then you realize you missed the variation. Then I realized I have to stabilize my position and work with a plan. So my plan was to get f4. And that's why I played my bishop back. I played h3, knight h2, f4. And so sometimes we have to sit back and just reformulate our plans, because if the position on the board changed, it might actually be a completely different game. And then we have to refocus and work out a new plan.
Yeah, no, lovely stuff. I think this was nice. The queen only threatened to mate. She's still standing on the original square. But nice game, Anzel.
You're right, hey? That queen is still in her pajamas.
Lovely game.
So listen, Calvin and Anzel, I just got a call that requires me to go to Belhar for some reason. I'm not sure what the reason is, but two of the students have just asked me to come to Belhar. So I hope it's not an issue there. I just got to go there now. But Anzel, from my side, thank you very much. Calvin will take that last Barwooden game with and take you through. And Jaka is also here. But thank you very much from my side for agreeing to be part. And we look forward to having some coffee with you at some stage. Denise and I will come visit you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Lennon.
I just have to mention one thing, Lyndon, to you and Calvin before you leave.
Yes.
Lyndon. You have to tell your wives. Now, I wanted to mention it in the beginning because both of them have been my teammates a few times. And I'm extremely proud of them because both of you Lyndon, you mentioned earlier that you and Calvin decided that you want to focus on the women, you know, for the season. So I love the work that they have done, and congratulations to the both of them for doing a good job on the two of you.
Yes, no, I will tell them. I will certainly tell them on that.
Definitely.
So no, thanks, Anzel. I'll take that for you. It's a good one.
Thanks,
Calvin,
Anzel.
you wanted to ask me?
Yeah, now is it possible for you to leave your Zoom on, or do I need to restructure the Zoom or what?
No.
You can just
the Zoom will stay on.
Yeah, you
the
can
Zoom
just
stays on. I'm quite fine.
Okay, great stuff. You can just switch off your video and mute if you want to, but all the best that side, Lennon.
100%. Thanks a lot, Anzel. Eh? See you later. Thanks, viewers.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks, Dr. Boa.
Sure.
All right, so
Bye. Bye.
let's see, Anzel. We've got a second game to look at over here.
Yeah.
Is this chapter 1 over here? Is this the E4 game?
I'm playing black, yes.
Okay, let me just double check. Okay, right. Let's just flip this around. The zoom is restructured over here. Does it look right?
This
Give
game,
me a
especially
second.
towards the end,
Uh,
yeah, I think there's a lot of analysis that we will not go through because there's a lot of variations. And if someone wants to comment on it, I'm more than welcome, or they're more than welcome, or ask questions or make suggestions. But why I chose this game was, this was right after lockdown as well. This was my second tournament.
okay.
The first one was the one in Mykonos, and then I played the Western Cape Close. And it was a round robin tournament, and we were 8 players in the A section. I was the lowest rated by far.
Okay.
I mean, I was the number 7 was 100 rating points, more than 100 rating higher than myself, and I managed to end 4th.
Fantastic.
So yeah, but this was all based on, and this is what I want to mention about theory. If you understand theory, or if you can remember theory, and sometimes if you work through things at a specific tournament, you might not get it in that specific game, but you might get it later on. Now, if you look at this game, I was playing black. If you don't mind to flip the board, maybe.
Yeah, let's do that.
Calvin, can you do that?
Flip board.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I flipped it my side. Which side are you seeing it? Are you still seeing it from the white side?
Yeah.
Okay, let me just
maybe
change.
you can start moving.
I'll change it for everyone over here to black. Okay, you should see it from black now.
There we go.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. So who's your opponent this time?
Okay, this was against Shabir.
Okay.
Bawadi.
The good doctor. Okay.
And as you know, Shabir is an attacking player.
Fiery player.
He
Yes.
doesn't let go. Yeah, Shabir is like a bulldog. Once he gets that, he doesn't let go. I mean, I've played many games against Shabir, and sometimes you get into a better position and Shabir doesn't let go. So for me, why I want to show you this game specifically, I mean, I made many mistakes in this game as well, but this was a line that I remembered, but I couldn't remember all the lines after that, but I remembered the idea. And this is why it's important. We often learn openings and we say, oh, but I couldn't remember the line, or I couldn't. That's nonsense. We shouldn't memorize the moves just because of the moves. We need to understand why the moves are being made. And that's why it's often important to study certain positions from the middle game, understand the middle game, and then you backtrack and learn the moves from the start, because then it's easier to get there if you know where you're going.
Yes, makes sense.
Like having your GPS.
Yeah.
Okay, so this Shabir was white. He played E4.
Just a second. I'm just trying to. Okay, yeah. Lyndon attempted to stay on Zoom, but he actually jumped off. So just slightly adjusting our cameras here. Okay, I think we're good to go. Yeah. Sorry for that delay. Yeah, we can start. So it's E4 C5 Sicilian.
Yes.
You can just maybe let me know if I should slow down.
Yeah. No, that's. I mean, I think the viewers are all familiar with this. This is book, or this is theory mainline.
Yep.
So the reason why personally I prefer to play knight f6 first and not the accelerated dragon playing c6 is I don't like the Maroczy bind if they play c4. So I prefer to just, I know there are other ways to get to the Maroczy bind anyway, but normally you get the knight c.
Yes, no, definitely. That's the reason why people avoid that accelerated. I would say I agree with you on that one. Okay, but this one allows long castling, right? In the accelerated sometimes doesn't. So you have to be brave. You have to accept the chaos. So let's see what happens. Let's see if Shabir goes for long castling.
Okay, wait. I just want to mention something here quickly. There's a nice tactic or opening trap that players can look at. So if you take the bishop back as well, bishop to f8, yes. No, sorry, bishop e3, yes. So here, the idea for black is normally we want to exchange the knight on f6. We wouldn't mind to exchange the knight on f6 for the bishop on e3, if I'm correct, Calvin?
Yeah, definitely.
So in this case, often if white allows it, then we would play knight g4.
Yes.
Okay. But if black plays knight g4 now, there's a nice little trap here, and white wins a piece.
Yes, I think this
So
is
if
also this is similar to, I think they call it the 11 fish, right? Similar tactic.
I think so, yeah. So now what white does is white plays bishop e5.
Bishop e5 check. And black
So,
doesn't have a great way of blocking it, right? No, knight c6.
No, because if, yeah, knight c6, then
it's just capture twice on c6, I suppose.
Knight takes, and yes, and there's a nice little fork with the bishop and
bishop
the rook
e7.
on the bishop e7. What do we do now? Now we just take the knight on g4 with the queen.
Queen takes g4 out of the blue, and we are piece up.
Yeah.
A nice flip over
and you're a piece down. So that's why we don't play knight g4 now. So what black does is black goes bishop g7, and now
first, yeah.
white's next move is f3.
Something
and the
94.
reason for playing f3 now is, and this is why I always, this is what I said, or what I tried to say earlier, is if you understand why people make certain, or why you make certain moves at certain stages in the game, then it's easy to learn the lines. Like here, for instance, now white has to play f3 because he has to understand in this position, if he doesn't play f3, then the knight can go to g4. Because remember, if the bishop goes to b5, then the king can jump out to f8 if need be.
Yes.
You know, I'm not saying that's the best, but I'm just saying that's why white plays f3, because he wants to create that little box for the bishop to be in.
Definitely makes sense. Okay, so you castle, right?
Black castles, yeah.
And
then okay, so in this case, the main line, normally white will play queen d2.
Yep.
Shabir varied, so he played g4, which is also an option.
Okay.
And I went knight c6. And then he played queen d2.
Queen d2,
So now this is the position that I've learned at the training camp in Spain in 2016. I've never got to play it. I never got to this position where I could actually do it. And yeah, I sat and I remembered I went through quite a few games on this. But this is like, it was then 5 years ago. And I thought, let's just go for it. You know, I've got nothing to lose. Let's go for it. So I played bishop takes g4.
Bishop takes g4. Interesting stuff. I think I've seen it, but I don't know any theory of it at all. I know g4 in this line kind of stops black from going d5. What should... I think some lines black goes bishop e6, right? Even.
Yes.
It's with this early g4. But yeah, so the specific... it's specific move orders here that's tricky, but you play bishop takes g4, you say that's the one that you prepare.
But Calvin, if you go back one move, you will see that this is the typical position. He just swapped g4 and queen d2 around. So normally if someone plays queen d2 after that, they can either castle, play bishop g4 or g4. I know there are other options as well, but I think those are the three main lines, if I'm not mistaken.
Definitely.
So now if they go g4, okay, so now, again, you know, knowing, Calvin, would you play this against Shabir?
Well, I mean, if you're playing the Sicilian Dragon, I don't think you need to hold back. I don't know. I guess you need to fight fire with fire here, right? So why not?
Yeah, I just felt extremely brave, you know. It felt like I was robbing a bank. So let's just do this.
Let's go for it, yes. Let's see, what's the idea?
Okay, the idea is, first of all, I should not, in this position, you don't mind exchanging the knight for the bishop on e8, on e3, right? So white should actually try to either retreat the bishop to g1, and there are other options as well, but he should actually try to avoid exchanging the knight for the bishop, I think.
Yes.
But the problem is, if he plays bishop g1, then white can't exactly castle alongside. Because there's bishop h6.
Very nasty. Okay.
So the main idea here for black is to play on c3.
Play on c3.
That's going to be your target.
Okay.
So we are going queen a5, rook c8, full out. But also, remember, black is now threatening something. Black's threatening Yes, to take the bishop, queen takes, and the knight falls.
Yes. Okay.
So what he did, first he exchanged the knight. Knight takes c6.
Okay.
Now,
Take
this
back.
is what I wanted, because I want to play, I want to play on c3, but I can also now, opening up the b file, I can play on b2. And like I normally explain to the little ones, that bishop is called the dragon. You know, this is why it's the dragon variation. This is my version of it.
Yes.
That bishop is the dragon, and you can see how he spits the fire, you know, and the whole idea is to go through or down that dark diagonal, and you play on b2. You play on b2.
Yeah.
So
no,
if you
that's the
can open
start
up the
piece.
b file, yeah. So then he played bishop c4.
Okay.
So I just continue with my plan. Queen a5.
Okay.
I want him to castle. I want him
Okay.
to commit, but where's he going to commit?
I guess he has. Okay.
See, that's
Castling
the thing.
sure doesn't look good. So I mean, he goes long,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah.
What now?
Then, now just bring my pieces in. Rook a b8.
Okay.
Looking at who's not playing, who's not working. Rook is in his pajamas on a8, so bring it to b8. I'm just asking questions. Rook is just saying hi to b2. Bishop's checking c3. Queen's checking c3. Okay, so now he played bishop e3.
Bishop to b3, blocking the rook. Okay.
And then I played, I think here, most probably there must have been better moves, okay, for me. But I must also say that at this stage, my time was starting to put some pressure on me as well.
Okay.
And I just thought, okay, if I can open up the king, that's good for me. Okay, bishop takes c3.
Okay, so giving up your prized possession over there for a different type of
It
play.
doesn't feel right, hey?
I mean, but
Doesn't
you're
feel
switching it up for something else, right? You're opening up the king a bit, so
Yeah.
makes
Yeah.
sense to a certain degree. Because you can't play queen takes, of course,
maybe
because of this.
I could have held on longer, I don't know.
Okay. I don't know. What else do you do if you don't play bishop takes c3?
I was thinking of c5 at some stage as well.
c5, but then is knight d5 not possible?
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Bishop takes c3 looks like almost the only move here for black to continue the initiative. I'm not sure if.
Are you just
I'm
trying to
missing
make me
something
feel
else.
better now, Calvin?
I mean,
But I'll take it.
I can't see a different move here for black. So
Okay, let's go for it.
let's
Bishop
go
takes
for it.
c3.
So white is
Yeah.
forced to play b takes, right?
E2s, yes. So queen
Check.
a3. Check.
King b1, and you finally get that bishop that you wanted.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then a5.
So we are piece down, but we've got initiative. a4 is coming, and white is nowhere close to attacking your king for the moment.
Yeah, we actually just a pawn down.
A pawn down, yes, of course.
Yeah.
And white has got some damaged pawns, so not too bad.
Yeah. So queen c1.
Okay, queen c1. White obviously wants to trade,
I played queen c5.
keeping the pressure.
Then a5. You see here the bulldog comes. He just holds everything together. Queen,
Okay,
queen
but
takes c3.
you grab a third pawn now.
At least now we equal
Yes,
material.
yes. Count points wise, you level. Yeah, and it's not over yet. I mean, there's still pressure on his king. It's definitely not comfortable.
Yeah,
That one.
yeah, but I think here there were better moves. Yeah.
Okay.
For me, queen a2.
a2.
And then I played queen d3, but I think maybe what if I played? I know I considered.
Maybe rook b4.
Rook b4.
On the other hand, as soon as your f rook moves, f7 could be weak. But I mean, what else?
Yeah.
You have to try something here. Rook b4 still makes sense. It's e4, keeps an eye on a4. You could try c5.
But I must
c4.
say, here I was running on a few minutes.
Okay.
You know, like 2 or something, you know, and then getting my 30 seconds increments.
Aha. So,
okay, so
let's keep the clock
yeah,
ticking
queen,
there with queen b4, you say? Queen d2. White
Mhm.
again is inviting the trade. c5. Okay. Trade. And you are happy to
At
play
this
this
stage,
endgame.
I was thinking to get my at this stage now. Remember, I'm in time trouble as well.
Yes.
So for now, I realized I really just need to get my pawns on the dark squares and cover the entrances, the open files.
Yes. Plus you got a threat on e4 and you are threatening
Yes.
c4. So,
And I had to stop that e4 because he might try to go e5.
aha. So, but okay,
So
white needs to stop this c4 threat. How's he saving his bishop
yes.
and stopping rook
So
takes
he
e4
played
at the same
c4.
time? So he plays c4.
Yeah. And then I played f6.
Okay, f6. You went rook d3.
Yes.
It's not easy for the white rooks to enter. There's basically no files for them to enter.
But it's also difficult for black to me it felt in this position that this is one of those positions that the player who's going to push for the win is going to lose.
Yeah, it's not much.
Um,
It doesn't feel like you can over push it here for black as well. Where do you enter?
yeah.
So both sides, yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, it's probably balanced here. So you play more
Yeah.
logical moves over there. Bishop
So
c2.
yeah, I was just trying to make up some time, you know.
Yes. Takes,
Um,
takes. White spawns are all scattered. It's not easy to hold on to everything.
And to be honest, his bishop looks like a giant pawn, or a pawn on
Yes.
steroids on at this
It's-
stage because he's just babysitting.
Exactly. So it's not clear if white has any great chances in
So
here.
I thought, well, you know what? I sacrificed my bishop on g4. I might as well just try to push on the side.
Uh-huh.
Why not?
That's the way to go. Yeah, I've been eyeing that king side for a while now, and you go for it finally. King g2,
Finally.
king g5.
You know, I wake up sometimes a bit later, but
and
this
but
is
now you allow them to get into the b file, but now you're pushing on the king side. You say.
yeah.
Okay.
He can come in the b file, but I'm queening on the g file.
Okay. King f1.
I'm checking. Yeah.
g3. Whoa, h3. Oof.
Yeah, but okay, here we were both running on, we would go down to 6 or 4 seconds and then quickly move and, you know, get your
Yeah.
30 seconds added. And yeah, so this was like you will see when I took the draw as well, I think I was just tired as well of,
Yes.
of the stress, you know, sometimes you get to a point.
Yeah, no, this is always exciting playing like this. This is what chess players live for. Takes h3, king takes g2, check. King h2, rook c3.
Yeah, and then I think this is where we
This is where the draw was okay because this is hanging, that's hanging. Which
I
way does
know,
white
I
go?
know, but-
Maybe bishop b3
But
now,
now
right?
you see, now I'm still thinking, I know Shabir, this he's got to do something. And sometimes we should also realize that you know, our opponents are also human. No.
But yeah, I mean, if I had more time, maybe I'll consider more. Maybe after playing a long game like this, being a piece down for a while, maybe taking the draw is the safer route to go here. Having
Yeah.
played on 2 minutes the whole time. But I mean, is bishop b3 the only move here? Bishop b3, could we take the e4 pawn? Seems like if you're really greedy, you could push on. But of course, there's some dangers if you push too hard. You're still a piece down. So,
Yeah.
Interesting game. I could have
Yeah,
never
so-
guessed that this would end up in a draw after bishop takes g4.
Yeah. Yeah. But the main idea, what I wanted to mention here is that if you understand the ideas behind the openings, then it doesn't matter even if you last saw the lines 5 years ago. If you understand the idea and the specific square that you're going for, then it's easier to remember the moves. I mean, I didn't play it perfectly, but I could remember what to go for, you know, and which pieces to go to which squares. So that often helps as well. Yeah.
Okay, no, interesting. Yes, and I'm just reading here, Anzel. I've been a bit away from the chat box over here, and people have been chatting a bit over here. Well, welcome everyone. Just over here, Bearded Zaid was asking early on in the game, Queen h5 instead of taking the knight on c3. Was that a possibility? If you just track back, let's see. You played bishop takes c3 over here. Queen h5 instead of bishop takes knight. I hope this is the right moment. He's saying, okay, perhaps threatening knight takes bishop and bishop h6. What do you think about that, Anzel?
Okay, but what if he plays king b1 here?
King b1, yeah. And to me, it seems like maybe you're putting your queen on the wrong side of the board here. Momentum wise, it seems like the one move threat or one threat move here is perhaps not gonna last.
That king is happy.
Side.
King is happy on b1.
Yeah, so maybe that answers your question.
If he has another move, he's welcome to tell us. I mean, if you saw something else here, maybe we're missing something, Calvin.
To me, it doesn't seem right to put the queen on that side unless it's forcing. Kithonsky is also in the house. Welcome Kithonsky, and welcome Z Bean and Scariest Name. Scariest Name says yes, Keith Kumalo. Yes, Kithonsky pops in every once in a while as well. Welcome everyone. Scariest Name as well says Anzel, when is the last time you spoke to Kata? Everybody knows by now Scariest Name is Vero. So yeah.
Katarzyna, I spoke to her this morning and yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah. She actually, I think she said she might try to log in tonight. I don't know if she's online. I don't think so.
Okay, that's nice.
No, I speak to her on almost a daily basis. She's in the UK and she's a vet in the UK at the moment. She's playing for England now as well.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah. So, okay, you guys are still staying in touch. That's nice. And yes, no,
She wants to come and visit and play, so she's waiting for invitation.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. She's already done so great last time she was here. We all would be happy to see her here again. So yeah, and Scariest Name, I think in the chat, yeah, we'll organize some mods pretty soon. Don't worry about it. But yeah, I think that's about it from the people in the chat. Anzel, quite a nice fighting game over here. I must say, Sicilian Dragon is probably my favorite opening of all time. I used to play it a lot when I was younger, and I ended up getting mated a few times too quickly, so I decided to ditch it. But it's for the what can I say, for the bold. You have to be bold to play it. So interesting that you are still playing it now against guys like Shapir, and always interesting to see the dragon on the board. So yeah, well played, nice games, and we hope to see more interesting games from you. Are you still planning on playing anything in the near future?
Yes. No, I'm back at the board and I can't wait to play again. I wanted to play last weekend, but I had some work commitments on Monday and I knew I'd rather just focus on that for the weekend. But I will definitely, most probably, I hope to play in the zonals in March. But as you know, we're all waiting for selection and all those kind of things. So I hope to play that, and I'm also looking at that event in Kimberley. That looks quite nice. So I'm looking at that, and I think there's some nice events coming up in Western Province and Western Cape as well. And no, if there's an event and I can make it that weekend, I will definitely play.
Okay, fantastic. Good to hear that. I mean, we've been waiting for things to get closer to, I can't say normal, but it seems like the chess scene is heating up slightly. So yes, good to hear from one of our top female players in the country. Great to see these games, Anzel. It was great having you on the show. So from my side, thanks a lot for taking out some of your precious time to join us. It was great having you on, and all the best with your future chess endeavors. And yeah, it was just great hearing from your experiences this evening. Yes, Anzel, did you perhaps hear 50% of what I said? I think you are muted, perhaps. I can't hear you at the moment.
Sorry, Calvin, I lost you there.
No worries. Basically,
I ask you.
Sorry?
I hope to see you at the board too. I hope to see you at the tournaments too.
Yes. No, definitely. I can't wait for things to get closer to back to reality again. So yes, I'm also looking forward to 2022 chess wise. So thanks so much again for taking your time out to join us. And
Thanks for
yeah,
inviting me.
all the best going forward chess wise. And yeah, we hope to see you again sometime on the channel.
Thank you, Calvin. I will join in the future. Thank you all for watching, and nice to see you guys.
Thanks again to everybody in the
Bye.
chat as well. Thanks, Anzel. Have a lovely evening, everyone. Cheers, cheers.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.